Hello, I'm back with my rental movie reviews, and today I'm talking about the movie Dope from 2015. Dope is a film by a director who it feels like it's his first film. This is actually one of his later films, but this really feels like a first kind of auteur movie. The movie is produced by Forrest Whitaker, who is also the narrator. It stars Shamika Moore, who before this movie was pretty much known just for Incredible Crew, a pretty hit and miss sketch on Cartoon Network. It also stars Keith Stanfield in a small role. Uh, yeah, Keith Stanfield in a small role, who I actually thought was like Stanfield. That's actually, let me make sure. Let me make sure it's not Lake, because they look very similar. Because I know Lake Stanfield is different from Keith. Yeah, I saw him and I thought it was Lake Stanfield first. Let me just look up Lake Stanfield. Okay, yeah, the same guy. He was credited as Keith Stanfield in Dope. I mean, to make sure it's on his movies. I'm gonna Googling it right now because it said Keith Stanfield. Maybe I thought it was like his brother. No, it's him. Yeah, he was in Dope. I was making sure because uh, he's usually credited as Lake Keith, like Lake Keith Stanfield. But no, that was him. I was want to make sure. Maybe he has a brother or something that looks just like him. But yeah, Keith Stanfield is how he's credited in Dope. And also has Blake Anderson from Workaholics as a person who they go to, and I'll explain a little bit later. And ASAP Rocky. Now the whole plot is about a geek named uh, Malcolm and his two friends who have a punk band and they love 90s hip hop. And what happens is at a party he gets invited to by a dope dealer played by ASAP Rocky. There's a police raid and the dope dealer puts all his drugs in Malcolm's bag. And Malcolm now has a choice to either go to police or sell the drugs and make a profit. And he also has a Harvard interview, and the guy who's doing the Harvard interview tells him to sell the drugs, and all crazy things happens. Now this movie is great for if you're in a minority where you don't fit in. Like if you're a Mexican, people are like, oh, you don't like Mexican, you don't like Mexican music, you don't like this thing, or if you're black, you listen to stuff that white people do, like you like getting good grades, you like going to college, you're not, wanting to do stuff African American people are told they should do. And that's what I think about this movie. It kind of works. That these characters are not fitting the stereotypes. And Malcolm kind of writes in his Harvard application essay what he learns throughout the entire movie. It's a coming of age story about these people who do not fit in the status quo, and I think that's pretty good. And that's why I felt like this feels like a first time filmmaker because he's telling a very personal story. And it feels like the character Malcolm is telling something about himself. Now, the thing about this movie, it has an R rating mostly for, I would say, the nudity and language. There's not a lot of violence when there is. It's pretty sparse, but it's used effectively. The music in this movie is pretty good. Like I said, Malcolm has a punk band called Oreo, and they have some pretty catchy songs. Now, what happens is, we meet Blake Anderson's character when Malcolm wants to do his entire drug business entirely by Bitcoin, which he actually brought up in the beginning of the movie, so it's pretty well established that Malcolm knows about Bitcoin, and that's how he gets his load around. And ASAP Rocky is in the movie quite a bit. He has some good scenes. He's actually a better actor that people might have given him credit for because a lot of people who rap don't turn out to be great actors. I mean, you could say Will Smith, but people would kind of consider Will Smith an actor more than he is a rapper. But people like Tupac, who appeared in movies, or rappers like 50 Cent, who was in a movie, I believe, where he had AIDS. I think he lost so much weight for a terrible AIDS movie. Other rappers have appeared in the movie. Bow Wow, I believe, I think it was in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. And other people who in the rap industry have acted, but I think ASAP Rocky gave one of the more better performances. Blake Anderson's pretty cool as the white guy who wants to say the N word. He's like Frank from Always Sunny. I'm gonna say the N word. But Malcolm's lesbian friend always slaps him every time he tries to say it. Tony Ravola, something like that. Tony Ravola. I can't pronounce the last name. It's like Tony are, well, he's in the Grand Budapest Hotel, which came out the year before, and he's also Flash Thompson in the MCU Spider-Man. I really liked him. The girl, I can't remember her name, I just saw the credits I should remember, but the girl who plays Malcolm, his lesbian friend, is also great as Diggy. It's Diggy and Malcolm and his friend. And I just saw this movie, I should remember this stuff more. But yeah, this movie feels like very first time filmmaker in a good way, but not like in a technical sense. I mean, it just feels very personal, something somebody would make as a statement when they make their first film. But no, this director has some other films before. I mean, the whole plot with the money and drugs, and it's very urban. And it's trying to say something about the gang-ridden California, Englewood, that we live in today. The whole thing with Bloods and Crips and all that, and how these geeky kids have to live in that area. And I think this serves the story really well. So if you all have seen Dope and would like to talk about it, just comment below, and I'll try to reply all the comments. I'm still in production, and I'll see you guys later.